They're good at the game of capitalism. Yeah. Larry Page. So what did they do? So Larry Page and Sergey Brin, do they talk to somebody in the CIA? Is that how did somebody give them the company Google? Did somebody say, you guys, you weird guys, one guy's Russian, you're going to be the guys. They got
seed money from the CIA.
Look that up, please. Look up, find it anywhere.
When people ask, is everything a conspiracy? The answer is yes. Who and what is controlling everything and why? They practice sorcery. I can't argue against magic. I don't know what it is that we live on, but I believe it's a realm. This realm that we live in is the lowest level of heaven, highest level of hell. Chicken snake gods and the Anunnaki and sorcery. If Sam says the chicken snake god is running everything, I'm literally in the world of crazy. I'm winning.
You're losing. Conspiracy Social Club, a.k.a. Deep Waters. And welcome to Conspiracy Social Club, a.k.a. Deep Waters, a.k.a. Highway to the Danger Zone. Already started.
Dude, you don't.
We don't. Hey, bro.
You said you'd be 10 minutes late.
I said I would be. Yeah, but I was 4.
Ready?
I was 4.
This is really fatty bacon.
I'm fasting.
You are?
I'm back to fasting. I want to apologize to both of you. I was late because I had to get a nose hair trimmer.
That's acceptable.
I need to trim these vines. They were just on fire right now. I could hear jungle sounds coming through my nostrils.
Really?
Because there was so much animal life hanging in my fucking vines.
And now you trim.
I trimmed it. I feel way better.
What's the psychology behind that? I always wonder. Maybe it's because I want to be more streamlined. I don't like being too hairy. I don't like having...
Nose hair is disgusting. That's the psychology behind it. And you ask yourself, what is the biological advantage to nose hairs?
It keeps bugs out of your... See, earwax and nose hair keeps bugs from getting in your ear.
Oh, really?
And in your nose. And you don't want bugs or mites, etc., in your nose and in your ear.
Yeah, everybody knows
let me tell you something. Getting ants in your fucking ear. Guys, look at me. Not a good time, okay? All right, guys, not a good time. Now, you'll see that certain tribes who evolved on the Kalahari, when they sleep, their head is never, ever on the ground. Why? Because critters crawl into their ears and nose.
That is my worst
So if you
nightmare.
look at the tribe,
yeah,
they sleep literally with their head propped up on their shoulder like that. They put their arm. Look it up.
Okay, perfect. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
No,
That's
but they also
crazy.
sleep on the ground, and they get their shoulder here, and they sleep like that. They actually put their
Do they sleep like this, upside down, like that?
Oh.
That's how I sleep, and that's why I stay so young.
You really
When you hang like a bat, you're gonna look young.
Bryan, if you want to see what look at that guy, he's hung like a horse, bro. If you want to see Bryan live, just go to bryancallen.com. If you want to see Sam Tripoli live, go to samtripoli.com. We got dates coming. Canada, I'm coming hard. Bang, bang, pow. So, Bryan, how are you? It's good seeing you. You crushed on Conspiracy on the Fight Companion.
I had a great time.
You had a great time.
I gotta say, Sam, it's gonna be hard for me.
Ugh.
You might be right about everything.
Really?
Well,
guys, it's been a great show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this journey we've been on.
Insofar as there are Democratic operatives that get together and that find like-minded, sympathetic voices in the media, and it's very organized, and they push certain narratives.
Okay.
And there's no doubt about that.
All right.
Now, that's the case for COVID.
All right.
That's the case for when Michael Schellenberger wrote San Francisco, the amount of pushback he got from the left saying, oh, it's the wrong conclusions. And they just have a blind ideology,
Right.
which is that it's all about oppression and racism,
Yeah.
and it has nothing to do with anything else. And any other discussion about anything else, no matter how scholarly, how researched, is considered the enemy.
So would you agree in this case? Do you think Sam's right that the Budweiser CEO is a CIA plant?
I don't think the CIA is relevant. In other words, I don't think that it matters that somebody worked for the CIA. I don't think that's what corrupts you. It doesn't corrupt you.
There's an old saying out there that whistles in the wind. That is, once a spook, always a spook. It's an old saying.
Well, once a patriot, always a patriot.
No, not
I'm a
necessarily.
patriot. If the CIA came to me and wanted help, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm your boy. Hold on. Hey, Langley, I'm your boy.
Oh, by the way, that soundbite will haunt you for the rest of your life. That will be played in perpetuity.
Good.
CIA, no bueno. Not in. Don't come a-calling. Daddy's not home.
Look, I'm a patriot.
Bryan, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put goat blood on my door so they pass by.
Happy Passover, everybody. Happy Passover.
Happy Passover, everybody. Hope you had a great Passover. So, besides this story, which is insanity, because we know that there was I think it was like 2020 or when did Biden get in? Yeah, 2020. That there was a large movement of ex-spooks that were going to run for office in the Democratic Party. And we never really did a follow-up on how many of them won, but that was a big, yeah.
Sam,
Bryan, you got something in your eye. What's it called?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that the CIA has more Democrats or more anti-Trumpers?
I think what the CIA has is some people that want to do that care, and then they just have this group of shadowy people who are shady as fuck and psychopaths who thought it would, hey man, listen, we have this black operation we want to do in Nicaragua. We can't get any money for it. Why don't we sell crack in the ghettos?
Okay, wait. So what about this? Say you're in the CIA.
Yeah.
So if you are a product of the Cold War,
yeah,
right, it's like a zero-sum game. In your mind, you're like, if the Soviets win, we're all fucked.
Yeah, right.
And then you look at the history of the world. World War I and World War II is so brutal. It's like there's no good guys, bad guys. There's only who has the most. The geopolitics is about who has the biggest guns.
Yeah.
So you might look at the world as insanely dangerous. And there's only winners and losers, and it's not about morality. It's only about that. So if you're fighting, if you really believe that you're fighting for your survival, your country's survival, right? That there are people that want to destroy you, and there are a lot of people like that in the CIA. Then maybe that is the idea behind it. So the zero-sum game is Soviet influence versus American influence in the Western
Bryan,
Hemisphere.
that's a great. Let's just say what you're saying is somehow true, which it's not. But let's just say it is, right? How do you explain what the CIA did to Latin America?
I explained the way very easily.
Okay.
The CIA was in a Cold War, a proxy war.
So you're saying
with Soviet influence.
You're saying when they went into where the term banana, and we've talked about this before, but the term banana republic had to do with them worrying about them Soviets?
What I think is that the Latin America was and always was either going to become, if you and I were growing up in Latin America, we were in Nicaragua, El Salvador, we probably would have been communists.
Well, Bryan,
and the reason we would have been communists.
The communism down there, the Marxism isn't the Marxism here. It's the Marxism to battle the corporations and the corrupt government.
Yes.
It's a totally different Marxism.
Right. So Latin America was under military dictatorship.
That wasn't a U.S. thing. That wasn't a USS threat. It was the people are seeing that these corporations, many of them American corporations, were coming in and pillaging their country and making it so they couldn't make money off their own land.
Yes.
So that's not Russia.
And then what happens in those countries is the military dictatorship, the military takes over. They take all the spoils. They work out a deal with all the American and Western European corporations, and everybody else starves. Or at least everybody else lives in a subsistence way. We understand this. Having said all that, the alternative was what? Marxism. And you had Americans who were like, that can't be because then the Soviets will have influence in their missiles in Latin America, blah, blah, blah. You can debate whether that's
You want me to
a
play
reality
it?
or not.
Yeah, please.
But you can debate whether that's a reality. But that was a real fear, or that was your job as a CIA guy.
Senior moments with Bryan Callen.
What is your assertion? Why did I just get that?
We just talked about it so many times.
All right, I'm
Right.
just saying.
But you're wrong. That's the problem. That's why he plays it.
It's not. It wasn't just economic interest. It was
No, it
ideological
was.
interest.
It was,
but it was also
Bryan.
ideological.
It was.
But there's also ideological differences in mindset. That's all I'm saying. There was just ideological differences. There was.
I totally disagree.
Yeah.
But what I would like to do real quick is not to get too deep into that. Okay, so the video going around, and I really want, I'm talking to everybody watching the show. So a lot of you that watch the show have children, and a lot of your children are going to grow up to become woke, and it's just natural. It's kind of like, I think if you would look at me when I was a young kid, I was probably would be considered woke right now. I would, and like over time you start to learn that, oh, that doesn't really exist. So, but if you do have a woke child who's thinking about going into college and stuff like that, I would love for you to play them this video that we have of the I believe she's vice president and she's head of marketing for Budweiser, and she's the one behind this campaign to put trans Dylan, who
Do you know Dylan?
I met Dylan when she was a guy. And you would
funny person.
super entertaining,
Very
like
funny.
If you watch that clip of him on Price is Right, that's who he is.
Let me see that.
And
let me
if
see
you watch that clip,
Funny.
you go, "Oh, that dude is
funny.
a chick."
Oh, okay. But
You know what I'm
also,
saying? What I'm saying?
also that this person was
They were
what was
Book of Mormon. He was in the Book of
so he's
Mormon.
a real performer.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a badass performer. That's if you're in the Book of Mormon,
If
that's
you
a big deal.
met him before he transitioned,
Hilarious.
you would be one, super entertaining, super funny, gay as fuck.
Yeah.
Like there's
I
no
love it.
like that guy's not. There's no macho in that.
No. But also, like, I watched one thing and I was like, I'm entertained as hell. That's a funny person.
Right.
So I don't blame, like, she's getting hers or however.
Right. I mean, like,
is this a girl or a boy? What are her preferred pronouns?
Well, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, girl.
Go on. So did you find the Price is Right one?
Yeah.
Let me
Can
see.
we watch that so Bryan could? So this is Dylan on the Price is Right.
Is that Drew Carey?
Yeah.
Big Dylan Mulvaney, come on down.
Oh, hold on. They put him on stage.
Oh yeah, very.
Dylan, how you doing?
Oh my God, this is the best day of my life.
Welcome to the show. Nice to see you.
Oh, it's the gayest.
He's hilarious. Let me see it.
I said everybody sit on. Listen,
$1.
$1.
Oh, that's a dream to bid $1 on a Showcase Showdown.
$2,040. Dylan.
Hilarious.
Dylan, how you doing? Right over here.
A total
Arms
performer.
away from me. Yeah.
Was
good.
this after?
So I was talking to you
After
earlier,
what?
tell the audience what you do.
I am a yoga instructor and I do musical theater.
Well, thanks for bringing the energy, Dylan.
Thank you.
We have something pretty cool for you behind the door here.
By the way,
We're
could
gonna
you have
entertain
listed
you.
less gay occupations?
It's the gayest occupation of all
Yeah.
time.
The only thing she could have said is fluff her on a gay porn set. That's the only way you can get gayer than that.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe this person identified as a woman, or did this all of a sudden? Is this new trans movement getting into people's heads, and they're going, you know what? I'm actually a woman now.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of attention comes with it,
Yeah.
right? So this is Dylan. That's Dylan. So like this whole thing is like everyone losing it. You need to watch this. Show this to your children. This is what happens when you go to a college and you're brainwashed into a certain ideology. And then you go to the real world and you will try to apply your ideology, which if you listen to her, very elitist. And this is what happens when ideology meets reality.
and this is the vice president of
who's in
Anheuser-Busch.
charge of this campaign.
Why would they hire somebody who doesn't drink Budweiser to do this? Why would they hire somebody who doesn't have any friends who listens to sports radio?
Nothing is about data of real life experience.
Hilarious.
Listen to what she says. Here we go.
I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. And it was, this brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. So I had this super clear mandate. Like, we need to evolve.
Stop. Like, right? Like, this is...
She's
Bud Light's in decline, bro? I mean, like, it's Bud Light.
True. It's probably true.
What?
I'm inclined to believe her. She's not lying about that.
Okay, but the world is burning. So what's going on here is your typical, we have a traditional system, it's garbage, let's reinvent everything.
Bud Light might have been in decline.
Okay.
That would make sense.
Okay. But do you understand that is the basis of every single woke ideology? What is traditional is not good. Let's reinvent everything.
Or it might be that Bud Light's in decline.
Okay, go on.
All right.
Oh, by the way, Bud Light's really in decline right now, but go on.
This incredibly iconic brand. And what I brought to that was a belief in, okay, what does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone.
Okay.
It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men. Mm-hmm. And representation
by using a lady man.
Hold on. Yeah, it's a big misstep. It's a big misstep.
Do you understand? Like,
this was a large misstep, and you're right. It comes from being out of touch.
Yeah, listen to what she's saying.
When you're only friends with people who come from a certain area code and went to a certain college, you're gonna miss
Bryan,
the fact there's a world out there.
What? Basically, I mean, we could have a debate on the numbers on whether Bud Light's in decline. Okay, it's a beer, it's established. We let's not get lost in that. Okay, but you have a brand, and its brand is like there's a market for that, right?
The brand is blue collar,
right?
Work with your hands, listen to sports radio.
This is the equivalent of going, listen, pro wrestling's hurting. How are we going to bring women into pro wrestling,
exactly.
right? Like the demographic is the demographic.
No,
now you can
agree.
lighten how you approach them.
No, but this is a classic. This is a classic liability. This is your liability when you are around only one kind of person.
100%.
I went to a party. And I realized everybody at that party, they were all educated, successful men in their 30s. You know what I realized? They all had read the same book, listened to the same TED Talk, went to the same college basically.
Yeah.
And it was
becomes an echo chamber.
monochromatic, homogeneous, monochromatic. They all were like talking at the same time. You know who I ended up hanging out with? The Navy SEAL who found himself there and was looking around. I was like, what do? You look like you're built like a brick shithouse. I was in the teams. Nice. Now we're going to talk, and I've been friends with him ever since. Keep going.
Evolution. You've got to see people who reflect you in the work, and we have this.
Stop.
hangover.
Listen to that statement.
Just let me finish. Let me listen to it. Hold on. Keep going.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'll just sit here, Bryan. You tell me.
But
when
you're not letting
ready
me
to talk.
listen. Let me
I
listen.
mean, listen to what she said right there. We got to find the people who reflect what we're looking to do. Look how lost you are.
But she doesn't. She's not friends
Go
with
on,
people that drink
Bryan. I'll be
Budweiser.
quiet. Go.
She's not friends with people that drink Budweiser.
I'm gonna throw.
She's never had any of those people over to her
throwing
house.
a tantrum.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Keep playing.
That's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men. Mm-hmm. And representation is at sort of the heart of evolution. You've got to see people who reflect you in the work. And we had this hangover. I mean, Bud Light had been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out of touch humor. And it was really important that we had another approach.
So out of touch humor, really?
And
you're out of touch.
Yeah,
she's out of touch.
Just think about what she's talking about, like
fratty,
which was a huge Bud Light
stuff,
right?
Yeah, she's wrong.
And
this is the liability.
Cost people millions of dollars.
Yeah, they hired somebody who doesn't drink the fucking product, who doesn't hang out with people that drink Bud Light. Budweiser is an identity.
Yes.
It's an identity.
Yes.
You know why Black Rifle Coffee does well? It's an identity. They sell their merchandise is what they sell as much merchandise as they do coffee because people want to wear their identity and their philosophy on their chest and on their head. And that's what you have to remember with a brand. And you start messing with loyalty. Budweiser is as American as I can imagine. I think of Clydesdale horses and tradition.
Yeah.
And every time you think that tradition doesn't matter to Americans, that's not sacred to Americans, that Americans aren't loyal to it, that they don't believe in certain kinds of authority, which is what Budweiser always was a part of, then you're going to lose all your money.
So
Right, Dylan?
Yeah, I just feel as though the dwindling sales is very similar. It's a Trojan horse similar to the boogeyman of communism in Latin America.
Okay, explain.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. And what you're doing is you're telling me that, in fact, Budweiser's light sales are just fine.
They're fine.
But this is a way to shake things up.
Okay, so what you're saying is that they're not losing money right now.
I don't think so. I think they're doing fine.
Dylan.
Can we have our own sound effects for Dylan?
I mean, it's just like 2 against 1 every single time,
Every
and
time.
I'm still winning.
Thank you. You know my struggle.
And I'm still winning.
No. There was a communication breakdown. He was talking about himself, and I'm on your side right now.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. There you go.
Look,
so my whole thing is
I
this.
found her a little bit attractive.
I like big teeth women.
I just think she's.
I mean, she has a velociraptor mouth.
We'd have great arguments. Great arguments.
You guys would hate fuck.
But she's smart, and she's got that. I'm attracted to that. She just looks smart, kind of like Sephardic.
Well,
she looks like she's of Arabic or Jewish origin, and I'm attracted to it.
It's just, it's what you're seeing everywhere. Is like her whole belief is like what happened before she got there is just crude, knuckle dragging. It's disrespectful.
She said bright and inclusive a bunch. So whoever said that
those are marketing terms.
Bright and inclusivity are what Budweiser drinkers are looking at. They're trying to get to work.
It's crazy that like this inclusivity is like this kind of like idealism that like is the only way to show we've grown. When instead it should be like it's all more like you do you and I dismiss him. I don't know what the word because I'm Sam Tripoli. I have the
marketplace is inclusive. When you have look, if you create equality of opportunity. If you have a business, I'm telling you, if I'm running a business, let's just take my restaurant. I want the best chef. I promise you, I don't care if it's Mulvaney, Dylan Mulvaney, whatever that person's name is, or Sam Tripoli. If you cook really well, then you're getting in there. And if you happen to show up in high heels and a skirt, but you're a monster in the kitchen, I'm telling you, I don't give a shit. And then if one of my sous chefs starts harassing you, I'm going to say to that sous chef, hey, bro, you're a white, straight male. You're not as valuable to my business. So if you bother my genius trans chef over here, I'm going to fire your ass. So in other words, I want the best. I believe in a hierarchy of competence.
Right.
I want competence.
But what if that sous chef is the best?
Then I want him harassing that person out of a job, and he's going to take the chef's job.
What is your restaurant called, and what kind of food are you serving?
My restaurant's called Whites Only, but let me finish. It's white meat only. That's all. I don't like dark.
Respect.
I don't like dark meat.
Okay.
Respect.
That's all I'm trying to say. It wouldn't be. It's not a racist thing.
Just flounder. And chicken breast.
My restaurant's called I Need to Check Your Family Tree at the Door First. That's what it's a long title, but that's all I'm saying.
Well, so if Budweiser's probably doing okay financially, everybody sees that this is a bad business decision.
Yeah, it's just bad business.
And the CEO is from the CIA.
Yeah, Brian. Do you see how we brought it all around?
And is there
brought it all around?
I will guarantee that Whitworth. Like Jack Dorsey, is as close to a libertarian, or at least is a capitalist free market guy as you can believe.
Brian, You think Jack Dorsey is a libertarian?
He is a libertarian. Jack Dorsey's a libertarian. There's no one who disagrees with that. No one who knows him.
You know who disagrees with that? Jack Dorsey.
No, that's not true.
Brian, he's the woke as hell.
He's not.
He is.
No, he's not. Jack Dorsey is actually not the enemy. It's the other people that got caught up in. Look, if you want to get a job at Twitter or Google or Facebook, the selection process is brutal, and you better come from a very woke university. You better come. The problem is our universities.
Yeah. We're running out of sound effects for you today, Brian.
These companies are, the irony is these companies are for-profit, market-driven companies.
Brian, you are delusional if you think Jack Dorsey, with his looking like a woke mascot during the Twitter hearings that he was hauled in. You are delusional if you don't think that guy is woke as shit. It comes from the top down. Decisions he made led to it becoming.
What do you mean woke? Define what you think.
What do you think woke is, Brian?
What do you think Jack Dorsey's political philosophy is? I want to
know. Inclusion.
No. Jack Dorsey wants to run a business. He got very good at running a business, made a lot of money. Right?
Brian, what are you talking about? His business literally did make money. That was the problem. When Elon came in, he's like, you guys aren't making money because it's a prop. It's a prop at the instant. I mean, sorry.
Jack Dorsey was a computer nerd? Like
Brian, by the way, he's in deep trouble right now with the Cash App for inflating his numbers.
You should hit him with a yellow card pretty soon here.
Me?
Really?
Yeah, because he's
out of,
he's way too torqued right now.
Yeah,
and you're just
Jack
trying to make
Dorsey
a point.
is not. See, Jack Dorsey isn't the issue. The issue is who gets hired for these companies.
Brian, literally, Elon Musk had to go in there and get rid of all the fake bots because they were faking their numbers.
I know.
And the Cash App is now in deep trouble for faking its traffic.
Yeah. But Sam,
it's data.
Would you at least agree that Twitter got so big it got out of control of the people who created Twitter? So,
no, I don't agree with that,
wait,
Brian.
You had these Asperger's-y.
What?
Sam, you had these Asperger's-y people, these
Asperger's-y?
nerdy. Yeah, they're nerdy.
Are you serving that at whites only restaurant?
Yes.
Asperger's-y?
Dorsey, people like Dorsey, people like Mark Zuckerberg. These are kind of even Elon Musk. If you look at these tech people, they tend to be nerdy, socially awkward, spectrumy geniuses. Okay? All of a sudden, they come up with this code, like the Google algorithm, whatever it might be. And they're good at creating a business. Then the business becomes so big, it becomes a monster you can't control. How do you think that their skill set should transfer from coming up with like some nerdy algorithm to all of a sudden managing, right-wing, left-wing wars on a global scale? That's hard to do.
Well, Brian, seeing that each one of these, at least Facebook now and Twitter have, and we all know, we've already discussed it here, so we don't want to have a senior moment, because I know you will remember when we discussed Google's CIA history and roots. So we already know that. So
you were wrong. You were wrong about that.
What? What do you mean I'm wrong about that?
Of course he's wrong. The algorithm.
Brian won that.
Brian did not win that.
Yeah, Brian won that one.
No, he didn't. He didn't win that. Thank you.
You're saying that Sergey Brin and Larry Page
had
nothing to do with Google?
Day.
Sergey Brin and Larry Page had nothing to do with Google. Yeah, they weren't mathematicians.
It never happened.
Yeah, they didn't invent the algorithm.
Okay.
What do they have to do with Google? Are they actors? Are they just good actors and they went to theater school?
Well, Brian, there's a lot going on there, and we've already discussed it.
No, but we haven't.
Discuss another story.
No, because you say these things, but at the end of the day...
Today's the day I broke. What's today's day?
There are people that are really good at creating businesses.
April 10th,
I made it through the resurrection,
Sam, there are people that are good at business, right? They're good at the game of capitalism. Yeah. Larry Page. So what did they do? So Larry Page and Sergey Brin, do they talk to somebody in the CIA? Is that how did somebody give them the company Google? Did somebody say, you guys, you weird guys, one guy's Russian, you're going to be the
They got
guys?
seed money from the CIA.
Look that up, please. Look up, find it anywhere. It's true that the algorithm and stuff, a lot of the stuff was developed by DARPA.
Okay. Thank you.
That's not bad.
Give me that.
But that's not bad.
Give me the bell.
Wait.
Give me the bell.
That's a good thing. That's good.
No, it's not.
Do you know why it's good?
Why is it
Let
good?
me educate you. May I educate you? Do you mind? Let me educate you.
Go on.
You ready?
Okay.
Now keep your mind open.
All right.
Keep your heart open.
Okay.
Okay. You
All
ready?
right.
No, you're too. Sit back.
Okay.
Now listen up.
All right.
Now listen to me.
Do you want me to Al Bundy it and just
No, hold on.
put my hands
The
right
internet
here?
that you use every day, GPS that you use every day.
Yeah. Brian,
Just take the, please, Google it, use every day. I drive a Tesla.
I don't use Google.
I drive a
every day.
Tesla, the electric car,
Yeah.
all these things. Now,
Yeah.
hold on. There's certain technologies, and this has been since time immemorial, certain
Why are you
technologies
smiling?
that private enterprise will not invest in. Why? Like stem cell therapy, gene therapy for cancer patients that are saving a lot of kids' lives.
You're very aggressively
Yep. Now
pointing
listen.
at me right now.
Now listen up.
Very aggressive.
Listen.
Very aggressive.
Just listen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
my God.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
wizard.
So
okay,
gene therapy, stay with me. All those things. Okay, a lot of things.
All right.
The private industry won't invest in it because it's too long. It takes too long, too much money, and not enough payoff. That's where low interest loans from ARPA, Department of Energy's DARPA essentially, come in to create Tesla.
Okay.
Right? Okay. That's why DARPA came up with Kevlar, GPS, internet.
Okay.
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 Took a long time to develop. So you need government, hold on, to provide low interest loans to industry and to invest in that stuff because nobody else will. That's what government's for, those scientists there. Here's what's fascinating about Department of Energy and DARPA. They've turned a profit. They've turned a profit with their own business ventures. So, guys, government does a lot that we all benefit from.
Yeah, this is the craziest thing. I forgot that we had talked about this before, but you actually, Sam won the last time we discussed
There we
this,
go.
'cause, yeah, no,
bang, bang, bang.
yeah, it's
Pow, pow. Bang, bang, pow. Bang, bang.
No, but that's right, though. That's not surprising. We all know that. That's not a conspiracy.
Well, you literally denied it just now.
No, I'm saying Larry Page and Sergey Brin took that company and made it what it is.
Okay.
And
Through
just
CIA
like Jeff Bezos
seed
did
money.
that too.
Okay.
Do you want to ring the bell?
Yes. Give me the bell.
But what is the point of CIA seed money? That they made a company that's...
Well, the point, there's a lot going on. One of it's, Brian, is that the notion that these things, let the sweet sound of the bell.
It's a false ring.
Fill your,
No, it's not.
No,
It's a
Brian.
No, what?
it's
Stop
not.
making up new
It's
terms.
not.
False ring.
It's a false ring.
No,
Really
that's
sad.
not a false
That's
ring.
really pathetic.
What the? This
That's
is
really
2 on
pathetic.
1.
This
Let's
is not
change the
2 on-
name of this podcast to 2 on 1.
No, it's Conspiracy Social Club. You lost.
I wasn't even allowed to call my daddy. I can call other people in the CIA, and I'm giving nothing.
So, Brian, yeah. So, I don't even know what brought this on us, but all of this is about, well, when you bring up Google, you bring up your car, you bring up all GPS, all of that's about your data. The government getting your data. All of it. That's what it's all about.
Well, it's also about private industry getting your data.
And
they
getting
can
your
sell
data.
It. They can sell
and the
it.
government getting your data.
And the private industry.
Yeah. So there is, and like when you take a look at Google and how Google's in trouble right now because everyone's just going straight to chat GPT. They're hemorrhaging. They're not hemorrhaging, but they're in trouble.
Well, should we move on to something that is also about government funding?
Yes.
I was just kidding. Brian won that one.
No, shut up.
Yeah.
Dude, you
I
are a
did pull-ups.
trickster. Dylan.
Dude, he won that
Linear
one.
warfare. Ren.
Yeah. I did pull-ups yesterday.
Go on.
What are your guys' feelings on the new rebranding?
I love it, dude.
BBC and
I
beyond.
love it. I love it. I love it.
What's that?
So what Twitter is now doing, which is like, okay, what was the real play here? Twitter is now labeling certain news as government sponsored.
I love it. It's true, though. NPR is actually, I give to NPR.
Stop.
So NPR is also private donations.
Yeah, it begs the question, what private companies take subsidies from the government and why are they not branded?
Well, the idea
government-funded?
behind NPR was to have a government-funded enterprise that was bipartisan, right? So it wasn't taking sides. So they didn't have to be beholden to corporate sponsors. So the idea was this is impartial news, right? That was the idea. Now, what's very interesting is that government-funded media never used to raise any hackles. It was like, that's the one I can trust. Now we all go, well, we know that the administrations of these White Houses call these people, find like-minded people there, like with Twitter, et cetera, and they exercise a lot of influence. Do you think it's possible?
Yes, Brian.
That the CIA and the FBI, especially the FBI with the Twitter files, was more interested in law enforcement and worrying about bad actors hijacking information than it was about ideology?
I mean, Brian, I want to believe what you're saying, but no, I just don't. I think they
Or is it a mix? Is it a mix?
No.
Because what I got from the Schellenberger interview on Rogan was that there were actors in the government and everywhere, conservative and liberal, who just thought Trump was literally Antichrist, like a major national security liability.
Here's what I'm going to say to that, Brian, is I am not in that ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I don't have that pack mentality that they had. So there could be people thinking that Trump is the Antichrist, right? And going to upset their apple cart, right? Like knock it over. That is possible. But what I feel in my heart of hearts, Brian, is that, and you're going to push back on this, but there has been a cabal that has been recruiting over decades people that the data tells them fits their ideology and their mental makeup, and they've been just getting these people in the positions of power. And Trump is not a savior of anything. But in fact, to me, he just represents a completely different crime organization compared to the George Bush death cult that has basically had control of our government. And that's my opinion. And the FBI and the CIA have been used as watchdogs to ensure that the people at the top's best interests have been secured and that nothing will destabilize.
Okay, so the people at the top tend to be pretty divided. So Trump is under
Brian,
indictment.
that is honestly, can we have
Trump
moments
is
where we
indicted.
say Brian says cute things
Because
on the
Trump's
show?
been indicted.
Brian,
Trump's indicted.
that's all theater. Okay,
But-
it's all theater.
Well, it's tying him up in the
theater.
courts.
Oh, really? You mean the guy who went and watched a UFC fight down in Miami?
Yeah, but he's still
Right, that Dylan thought was a Trump
but
rally?
he has political enemies.
Right, Brian. But at the very top, they all work together. So a guy
No, they
who
do.
said a
Wait,
great point.
wait.
Oligarchies help oligarchies.
No, this is where you're always wrong.
No, Brian, I am
At the
not
very
always,
top, they
I am
help
always
each other.
right.
At the very top, what?
Point counterpoint. Let's go point counterpoint.
Okay, go
Okay, I
ahead.
made my
Point,
point.
counterpoint.
Brian's counterpoint.
My counterpoint is that people have different interests and different ideologies, even at the top, and some people will try to destroy their competitors. Trump's a competitor to a lot of people who are elite, and Trump has his own elite. So you do have, first of all, that the meta thing is Democrats, Republicans. Then you have people who have like different geopolitical interests, different economic interests that are competing with each other. So in my opinion, when you have certain companies that would do better if another competitor went under, that's good for that company. So I don't know to say that
Brian,
there's this
is it of your
cooperation.
belief that the Republicans and the Democrats are locked in a battle of ideology and they're going at it all the time? Like a rugby, like it's just a rugby thing where they're just both trying to get a scrum. It's a political scrum and they're just fighting over inches and it's a battle.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that what you think?
Well, I think that what has aligned, actually,
It's a
ironically,
real simple question. It's really just a yes or no.
it depends on the subject. It depends on the issue.
But do you think, in the grand scheme, do you really believe that the right and the left, the Republicans and Democrats, the red and the blue, are just engaged in a battle fighting over America?
Let's take the effort to unionize the entire restaurant industry in California. It's such a crazy idea. If you own a restaurant, they want to make the minimum wage $23. It will cost just for a small restaurant, an extra $60,000 just on administrative shit.
Okay, Brian.
And
I get it.
So
I get it.
there are Republicans and people who are pro-business
But, I mean,
who this is a terrible idea. That would be a lock scrum battle.
Right.
So it depends on the issue. Gun control is an
Washington,
emotional,
DC,
ideological
Brian,
issue for the most part.
Do you believe that the Republicans and the Democrats are engaged in a battle for the soul of America?
No.
Okay.
Thank God.
But I think that Republicans and Democrats still argue over ideological and philosophical, politically.
So let me ask you, how much of these arguments are actual arguments and how much is it theater to divide?
The biggest corruption in our government is what? Is how campaigns are financed. So you will, whether you're Democrat or Republican, you better toe the donor party line. You have deep pockets that say, like, so let's just take banking swipe fees. You better vote the right way when it comes to banking swipe fees, because that is going to be way more important than anything else, because the banks want to make money on swipe fees. So that is what's debated on the floor.
Right,
and
Brian,
if you want to stay in office, you better vote on that.
But do the banks fund both sides of the party? Both parties?
Yes.
Okay. So, Brian, do you believe when it comes to certain interests that the two parties are in war, or sometimes are they the two wings of the same corrupt bird? Like, do you believe the Bushes and the Cheneys the Bushes and the Clintons were at war? Do you think that? Do you think they represented just different values? Because this was a very simple question.
They represent different values. Yeah.
What? Okay.
We're on our way.
Higher taxes, larger government interference, more regulation.
Hit it. You got to hit it, dude.
One is anti-environment, pro-environment. Yes.
You really believe that?
Well,
Brian, when I was young,
think about it.
Think about it.
Think about what the arguments were on the floor. The arguments were welfare reform. The arguments were these things.
Brian, will you look it up, see if you can find this picture? Will you look up Bill Clinton at Trent Lott's dedication of his portrait in the Library of Congress? So when I was a young man, I've seen one president live in person.
Yeah.
And he was a young man running for office named Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
And he came to UNLV, and I remember like, whoa, that's a president. That's a guy who's going to be a president. Well, my buddy who later went on to become my roommate, he was there with a sign that was going at Clinton. And the Secret Service grabbed it. And I remember that effect. I'm like, whoa, bro, that's silencing of... So Bill Clinton gets in, and man, it's these Republicans, they're not letting him get anything done. They're going after him for whitewater, going after him for sexual stuff, and they impeach him. And man, it's a battle, and they just cripple him because they're at war. And I remember Washington going, why are they going after Bill Clinton? And then one day, I saw this fucking picture, and it changed the way I ever looked at politics again.
But why? Because all work
this
together.
motherfucker is
together.
smiling with all the people that tried to fucking
Yeah, but they've
kick
always
him out.
been
Brian,
that way.
you're dismissing that as anything other than theater. Dude, it's fucking pro wrestling, Brian.
Okay, so Sam,
Brian,
let me ask you a
Did the
question.
CIA sell cocaine in the United States?
No. Sam, let me ask you a question. You seem to think that our government
Bryan.
overall is evil, right? You think that that CIA and FBI and the people at top are basically evil?
Oh.
Do you think that?
What do you think they are, Brian?
Do you think that?
What do you
So what
think
about
Brian?
this is great.
He can't answer a question with a question. I mean, you got to
Yeah,
answer his question.
this is a
Yes,
great.
Brian.
You
Brian,
do.
I do.
Good. This is a great. Okay, let's
Okay,
start. Okay,
Brian.
this is great. Sam, what doesn't work for you in the past 50 years living in America?
Yeah.
Tell me what.
Oh, dude, you're
what
He's
part-
doing it.
Sam,
Now you're
tell me what part
scraping
of-
your
yeah,
legs,
it's great, 'cause
dude.
Now this is where I come in with the coup de grace.
Okay.
The coup de grace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The coup de grace is really basically I'm going to stab your heart. Here.
Okay.
My coup de grace is this, Sam.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me, and I'll take
I'm
my
listening.
time. This evil government.
Yeah. Yeah.
You conspiracy theorists who
Yeah.
talk about you
Yeah.
know people who pray to more.
Okay.
What is it that you don't get to do? Where is it that they step on your rights? 50 years, by the way. Where do you have trouble getting coffee, food? Does anybody get in the way of you speaking your mind? Have you ever been put in jail, interrogated by a government official? Has anybody you know ever been assassinated? Has anybody you know ever been in prison for their political beliefs? I'll wait. I'm waiting.
Well, Brian, you're talking
Well, Brian,
to
what?
a
Yes or
Dick
no?
Joe comic
Yes or
drug
no?
addict who went to jail
Yes or no?
for a night for buying drugs off a hooker.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Oh man, now you're putting yourself down. Sam, you're not answering my question.
What
I
am I-
gotta give him a yellow card. He's not answering the question.
No.
Totally fine. Totally fine.
Yeah, what?
Totally
Yeah,
fine.
you got
No.
He
Brian,
has been censored, though, categorically.
Yeah,
He
100%
talked-
been
he talked
censored
about-
by the fucking FBI who went to Twitter and said censor
Your Honor,
political dissidents.
Your Honor,
100%.
when he talks about Kim
Brian.
Kardashian having
unbelievable.
when he talks
Brian.
about Kim Kardashian
Brian,
having
did
explosive
the U.S.
diarrhea.
government invade Iraq under false terms?
Does the yellow card mean nothing?
And-
Wow. Answer my question.
Yeah, I just did.
No, you don't get to go, hey, Iraq. Don't go. Why are you bringing me to Babylon, bro?
Yeah, bro.
I don't want to go to Babylon. I want to
snaps.
stay in America.
So, what is the question? Have I
question,
has
Sam,
my speech
is that-
been censored by the U.S. government?
no,
the
Sam.
answer is yes.
Sam,
Yes.
it's been
Am I
censored by a
paying
private
ridiculous
company.
taxes to pay off a interest on loans from the Federal Reserve that is there to cripple my country and devalue my dollar
Sam.
to the point right now that they're going to force us. But you guys think it's crazy that BRICS and the federal dollar, the federal coin are coming out all at the same time? That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
That's crazy talk. Yes. So the answer is yes, Brian.
Sam won.
Sam, you have none of your
You
freedom.
can have your yellow
Don't
card,
ring that.
'cause I have the
What
bell.
the fuck, dude? He can't. None of your freedoms.
Yes.
Zero of your
Brian,
freedoms
Brian.
have ever been infringed upon by this tyrannical and terrible government. The truth is, Sam,
Brian, if I don't pay my taxes,
you haven't.
Brian,
well,
if I don't
that's
pay
called the
my
law of
taxes,
the land.
no, yeah, exactly,
Sam,
Brian.
I would remind you.
I remind you that the Federal Reserve and the IRS is not a U.S. government department.
Sam, I'm about to drop some biblical knowledge on you.
Okay, go on.
And I didn't want to get biblical.
Okay.
But he is risen.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, he is risen. And so I'm going to quote somebody
Okay, go
by
on.
the name of Jesus Christ. And I'm
Go
sorry
on.
to do this. But I believe in God. And Jesus, when asked, do I pay taxes? Should we pay taxes? Jesus said, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. In other words, pay your taxes. It's the law of the land. When Socrates was told to leave Athens, they will let you leave. Don't drink the hemlock, he said. But I've lived under Athenian law. I've benefited from the Athenian law. I've paid Athenian taxes. Therefore, if Athens wants to kill me, that's on them. So Sam, don't ever complain to me.
By the way,
about
you
paying
defended
taxes.
the government with a quote about a guy getting killed by the government.
Don't ever.
Okay.
Both were killed by the government. Sam,
Okay.
don't ever complain about paying taxes. You live in America.
Brian,
Use their roads.
Brian, where does your tax money go?
A
The
lot
majority
of
of
different
it?
places. A lot of different places.
Okay, where's it mostly go?
To create the internet,
Nope.
to create
Nope.
GPS,
Nope. Nope.
entitlements,
Nope.
for the weak and the elderly?
The answer we're looking for is Ukraine.
No, Ukraine is hey, both of you infants.
Brian,
both of you infants on
your tax
geopolitics.
money goes to pay off the interest on the money that the U.S. government borrows from the Federal Reserve.
This is very true.
that
This is
was-
very true that the government has never paid its principal.
Okay, it will never pay it off. It's never meant to pay it off. That is a system that has been established by politicians,
I know, but
Brian.
Sam, seems to be that we're not starving in the streets, and it seems to be they've done a pretty good job.
Brian, because
of
men
managing.
from our forefathers before set up a system that the current people are trying to dismantle.
Well, but there are people that don't disagree with that in government. There
Okay.
are people that are aligned with you philosophically.
Brian, I'm not naive to think everybody in government is up to no good.
But Sam, so what you're saying is that for the most part, maybe it's not a conspiracy. It might just be competing
Brian,
ideas, interests.
Brian, do you think John McCain and Obama were going at it? That ideological differences.
I think John McCain and Barack Obama had philosophical, political differences. Yes, they believed in different things,
So
they
but they put that aside to form ISIS. Is that what you said? Was it like a pro wrestling moment?
Sam,
Like, listen, brother, you may not
they
like it,
didn't
I might
form
not
ISIS.
like it, but
Sam,
together we gotta come together
Sam, they
and
didn't
bring down the
They
Middle
didn't
East.
form
Do
ISIS.
it
I
together.
know. I know a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank
you.
You're so in fancy land.
That was for you.
Yeah, they formed ISIS. They
Totally formed ISIS.
I know a lot of soldiers that spent a lot of time killing ISIS.
Yeah. Guess what they did?
And under Trump,
They were shooting their coworkers.
under Trump, we crushed ISIS.
You are so,
and by
you
the
are
way,
so
under Biden.
nuts, Brian. Brian, do you find it
We
crazy
didn't
that
create
ISIS was never in any of our allies' countries
You can
ever?
make this argument.
Do you think it's crazy that ISIS apologized to Israel for accidentally firing on them?
You can make this argument that ISIS was created by the United States insofar as the invasion of Iraq destabilized that country, took anybody who was a quote-unquote Ba'athist, fired them, and then those people who were part of the Republican Guard created
Yeah.
ISIS.
And where'd they get all their money, Brian, and their training and all that stuff?
A combination of things.
Brian, I'm not. I have zero faith in this guy finding it, but do you think there's videos maybe out there of ISIS leaders talking about if the U.S. government doesn't pay their fucking bill to them that they're gonna stop fighting? Do you think that?
Sam,
now, Brian, what was the red line, rat line about? What was red line, rat line about? Brian, what was
red line was about
red line,
chemical
rat
weapons.
line?
It was about chemical weapons.
Yes.
in Syria.
Yes.
But wait,
And who used
Assad.
those? No, he didn't, Brian. You don't know.
Assad didn't.
No.
Really?
Yeah, Brian.
Assad didn't.
He didn't.
Who did?
ISIS.
I see. So, and
That's
ISIS,
why Obama looked bad, because Obama didn't even have a chance to invade Syria because the UN got.
I think what you're talking about is the fact that we gave money to the resistance that was trying to overthrow the Assad regime. That's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's called ISIS.
I understand
Okay.
that when you meddle in other countries' affairs.
And Brian, let me ask you something.
create
Who
blowback.
killed Gaddafi?
Well, probably the Libyan opposition supported by the Americans.
ISIS.
The
And
Libyan
who supported
opposition-
that?
the
So
Libyan
let me get this right,
opposition-
Brian. We supported the Libyan blah blah blah.
No,
Boy
you're
Scouts.
talking about what happens when you meddle in a country's affairs
Yes.
and the blowback.
But we didn't do that with
happened,
ISIS,
and the
who's not in
ramifications.
any of our allies' countries, only our enemies.
You can
Is
make
that what
the
you're saying?
argument that if the United States hadn't invaded Iraq, there would be no ISIS. It's a very good argument.
Yeah, and who gave
But it
them
doesn't
the
mean
fun?
that we were giving them. It doesn't. It doesn't mean that
We've already been through this. Next story, because
Yeah,
we've
but-
lost Dylan. Dylan, are you with us?
Yeah, I just got my feelings really hurt
Why?
Why?
when Sam said I have no faith that he can find this.
Because it's not you.
It really hurt.
I'm sorry. Well, I want to take a moment.
Let's
can
see.
I? Can I?
Well,
look-
he's on your side. So
Can I?
I'm
Can
gonna
I
go.
take a moment? I want to apologize to Dylan Wren for saying jokingly that he'll never find it, because I understand sometimes jokes hurt, and we have to respect our coworkers.
Where are you looking?
I'm looking right into the camera, and we have to respect our coworkers. So to you, Dylan, I say I'm sorry. I think you're the best the best guy looking up
You're the
stories
best.
Simply the best.
Can't
Simply the
And
best.
I want to buy you a Bud
Oh, you
Light.
couldn't find
I
it?
can't find it.
Okay.
Dylan, can I ask you a question?
Find it.
You're comfortable wearing certain clothing. What is it about that kind of clothing makes you comfortable?
If I was being spoken to by someone who was not in a pumpkin crew neck, I may open
Yeah,
my
dude, what is
ears a
up
little
with
bit.
your
It's a
color?
cashmere pumpkin crew. It's cashmere. That's a big
You
deal.
were wearing a pumpkin crew.
But it feels great on my skin, and I happen to be very particular about things that itch. Dylan, does your lady look at you in the morning and say, "You look fantastic"? Because
Yeah.
that's how Brezhnev dressed.
Yes. I don't even know who Brezhnev is, and he sounds like a good guy.
He was one of the Soviet premiers in the 80s.
What?
well, he's a
You
communist.
wear very drab colors.
I don't think he's drab
and you wear
colors.
strangely outdated bowling shirts. Is that fair?
I think you look great. The only problem I have is I wish Dylan wouldn't wear hats because he has such luxurious hair.
Well, I got
But if you wore-
I got
if
a
you
bad
wore-
haircut, I got to shave
if
my head.
Dylan worked
Hold
in
on,
the,
what?
Yeah, I got a bad.
Let's
haircut.
see it.
Yeah, he did. He has
I
a,
got-
it's a terrible
It's a
haircut.
bad haircut.
Let me
I
see.
did-
Well, he got
I-
to see. I don't get to see.
I-
it.
I was shaved by a transgender woman too. It was
Now,
I
dude,
was
did they
bleeding
hump
all
you while
over
they
the
cut you?
place.
That's why gay guys love cutting my hair. They love to grind their junk on me as they cut my hair.
Yeah.
No.
Dylan, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Start wearing jeans, sweaters, and lift weights. Get as big as you're supposed to. Grow a beard and a mustache. Get your hair long and tousled, and be the eye-poking villain you're supposed to be.
We're going into summer. I can't grow that big of a beard. I'll grow a beard. Come winter, you'll see.
Get some hair on your face. Get in stupid shape.
All
You should be
right.
holding a squat instead of being in a chair every time we do this podcast.
I can't hold a squat for an hour and 15 minutes. I mean,
Dude,
that's
I
absolutely
did
insane.
pull-ups yesterday, and I went 10 pull-ups, no big deal.
Sam, he's speaking about his
Then I would give
physical
myself
journey.
1 minute rest. Then
What
I did
else do we
9
got to
pull-ups.
talk about? Anything else?
I would say that's a fucking red card. I would say that's a fucking
Me?
red card.
Me?
Yeah.
I think you told me
It's
to
on
do that.
him. It's on him. If he wants to. He
Why?
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
why not?
30-second timeout.
Fucking A. Okay, guys, my turn. Here's the thing. One of the biggest enemies to progress and thought is certain people who don't read or have the patience to really look into the history of why things evolve as they do. And what you're going to find at the end of the day, guys, is that the people have different ideas, and it's probably predicated on their emotion.
13 seconds.
On how they come to the world in the first place. Some people tend to be more open. Some people tend to be more closed. Some people tend to believe in being fair and
seconds.
care, and other people have a wider moral palette. I'm quoting Jonathan Haidt, and they believe in fair and care, but they also believe in loyalty, authority, and sanctity. So, a lot of times it's just how you come out of the womb, and that is probably by design, because I'm going to quote Jordan Peterson, liberals are there to tell you what should be changed, and conservatives are there to argue for what should stay the same. And you need political dialogue to figure out the difference between the two.
Wow.
Wow.
That's the danger of getting a red card. He can just go for 30
Yeah.
By the way,
seconds.
that's all you need to. If you tune out of the podcast, you're allowed to, because I just basically put out the framework for how the entire world works.
Yeah. He really did. That was
Yeah.
a big win for you.
I'm gonna go home and shower.
That was a big win for
That was a
Bryan.
good big win.
Do we have any other stories?
Big win for Conspiracy Social Club. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how Sam is completely correct about all of the Ukraine stuff. Pretty much everything Sam has ever said about Ukraine and everything you've disputed, he's been correct about. So I'm really excited to get into that.
Well, before we get into that, I have a question for Sam, as we're going to end with this question.
right.
Sam, I understand the argument for not going into Ukraine. I understand the argument that Ukraine provoked, and the United States provoked Russia into doing this and gave them no choice. But don't you think that the Chinese will invade Taiwan if we don't stay the course in Ukraine?
Well, here's the whole thing with that is It's not. I am over the United States.
He just takes too long. And
What?
That's fine.
How's that not red card?
because I won.
You're not.
Because you
dude.
went like this.
It's
Well,
not
I mean,
our.
at the end of the
we're
day,
not the. We should not be the police of the world. And I'm sorry.
what if somebody else chooses to be the police of the world?
Well, it looks like, and then they'll fail too. Because what the world doesn't understand is like China's coming. China is like the vampire that needs to be invited into your house to come in.
Oh.
And that's what they're doing right now. Because the difference.
That's a really, really good analogy, actually.
Yep.
Because China comes as your friend. Like in Africa, they're like, we'll build all your roads.
Yeah.
We'll do everything for you.
Yeah.
What? What? These little resources over here?
Yeah.
I mean, we built everything for you.
Yeah.
There it is. Europe must
Yeah.
reduce its dependence on the United States. Its flight from... Yeah, the problem is, that's great, but China has no natural resources that Europe can use. So now...
I don't understand how this guy is still in office.
Macron?
I don't get
Macron's
it.
great.
What?
He's a capitalist, banker.
What'd you just say?
Macron has a hard time in France. He's dealing with real socialists and unions that strike at the drop of a hat. But Macron's got some sound political points of view. Why don't you think that?
He's
a
literally
piece of
he's
shit.
a
Macron?
fucking-
Yeah.
He's a Chinese
He's a
turncoat, and
world
you're a
economic
patriot. I don't
piece of
understand
shit.
this.
What do you mean?
He's a world economic piece of shit. What part of that sentence didn't you understand?
Because he goes to the World Economic Forum?
Because his policies have been New World Order from the jump. He's constantly saying New World Order, New World Order, New World Order. And listen, part of me does have sympathy for Europe because they've allowed this to happen in this desire to tiptoe through the tulips and have transgenders selling Bud Light. They've allowed their power to give away. They've allowed unelected bureaucracy to run their country and their continent.
You mean the European Union?
Yeah. And like, dude, I'm sorry, bro. Like, part of me doesn't have sympathy for you, but part of me is like, you better wake the fuck up. Sorry. He's a garbage man.
But how would you run your France's economy? Like the problem is that you're dealing. It's like there's a limit to how much power you have. Macron's a free market guy. Macron is basically a capitalist. He's not a fucking socialist. He just isn't. Now there is a new world order, right? Wouldn't you say that the world is changing with technology and we have challenges that are always coming up, right? Does any of that require some global cooperation? For example, two major examples. Is there any global cooperation on putting a pause on AI, on CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing, on the miniaturization of thermonuclear weapons? Is there any value in getting together as a world and saying, can we put a global pause on this?
Brian, I have no problems with the world working together on certain things.
Okay.
And then but as long as whatever country you're in comes first. Like what you're talking about, Brian, is a slippery slope that could lead to the World Health Organization getting their pandemic treaty, which they want to supersede our Constitution. Okay?
Well, we agree on that.
Okay, so it's like you have to really watch yourself and this is the whole thing, and I don't want to get into it with you, but this is how they do it. They get you the degree on something over here, and then they just slippery slope it to over here.
True.
Okay, so that's how it goes, man. True. And Marcon is a piece of shit. And he's a garbage man, just
why
like
do you say
Trudeau.
that?
He's just like Trudeau, bro.
But you're just
he's
saying
Trudeau.
Dude, are you going to eat bacon on the show?
Are you eating bacon in the show? God dang it, man. I'm on a 24-hour fast. Fuck. All right, guys.
Good.
Thank you. I enjoyed this episode. Usually Dylan will give us how did it go. Was it okay episode, Dylan?
How's the bacon?
It's so good.
Just like this show.
A smart animal had to die for you to snack on this
I
show.
feel bad about it.
You should. They're smarter than
I
dogs.
love bacon so much.
They're smarter than dogs.
Yeah, and I feel bad for pigs.
Yeah, I do too.
But I try to eat organic bacon. I want
What do you mean
free range-
organic?
I want free roaming.
But you want one
hogs.
that roamed and then got shot
I'll
and
shoot
killed?
a fucking pig in the face.
You will.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you guys for listening.
Especially a
Conspiracy
wild
Social.
boar, and I want to go wild boar hunting in Texas.
All right, good luck.
You need to use slugs against those motherfuckers. They won't go down.
Hey! I know what you need to use against an animal. You don't tell me about ballistics. Okay.
Why did he get so aggressive?
Yeah,
I know- because I know-
He's really queeny today.
I know about what to do when it comes to killing an animal.
Okay.
Okay, and I know where to shoot it.
God.
Okay,
All right.
I'm not going to be using my throwing stars, Dylan, and I'm not going to be using a sharp stick. Okay,
Are you going to be using a slug?
no.
Like what, a
I'm
banana
not.
slug?
What do you use
What am I going to use?
to take down
I'm going to
wild
use a
boar?
helicopter, and I'm going to use.
Oh, so you're going to do a pussy
Oh,
style.
my God.
What a
that's
pussy
so
you are.
disappointing.
Yes,
Man.
and I'm going to
Just
run.
when I thought your orange sweater with a hole in
and
the
I'm gonna
fucking
lead,
armpit
I'm gonna
was
lead
bad.
and go get
Oh my gosh.
feed my belt. Feed my belt. Somebody pour water on the barrel. She getting red hot. Somebody change my pants because this is getting me all kinds of bonery. They say you can't shoot your way out of the wild feral hog problem. Yeah, how you doing? How? Don't lead him as much. More water on the barrel. What do you mean we're running low on the fucking fuel?
Why do you have gay
Should have
guns?
stocked up. Aren't you gonna eat that meat? Fuck no! I'm poaching today, boys. Somebody wipe my glasses off. The fog, the love fog is getting real thick up in here, boy. I get excited as fuck, and I'm steamed up, not because of the heat, but I just love taking pig life. Bro, why do you train so much from a helicopter and a helicopter gun ship? Well, because got to get ready for when the shit hits the fan. You know what I mean? Because humans run a lot slower. So if I can get a pig, I can fucking get a human. Click, 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 click. Come on! Click, click. Ah, man, we got to land for more. Pulled the fucking chute just in time. Broke my legs, but it was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it.
All right. Well, yeah.
Was that a massacre or did you miss a lot?
Oh, it was a fucking massacre. It was a massacre.
What are you going to do with all the pigs?
Leave them.
You're just going to leave dead pigs.
Yep, just gonna fucking leave them for the other pigs to eat. All right?
I gotta go.
Bush pigs will eat anything, including their own, which is why I kill them, because at the end of the day, they're cannibals at heart.
Oh.
Have a good one, everybody.
See you soon. Hope you had a great Easter.
Oh.